So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make invisible buttonholes or almost invisible buttonholes in crochet ribbing. So you can see here, I've got these buttons attached. This one is where the buttonhole is hiding. So I can just pop that through there. And you can see there's another buttonhole just there. Not completely invisible, but they're fairly well hidden compared to the kind of traditional method of chaining. So this ribbing I've just made using a traditional half double crochet, that's in US terms, working in the back loop, which is here. And that creates this ribbing effect. It's quite a traditional way to make ribbing for button bands on cardigans or hems on sweaters or brims on hats. So I chain one at the start of the row, and then I just work a half double crochet into that back loop. I'm doing this quite loosely so you can see. And then yarn over and pull through 3. So it's yarn over, insert a hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. That's just your standard half double crochet. So I'll do 3 of those to start the row, and then I'm going to add my buttonhole. So this buttonhole is going to be the width of 2 stitches, which is enough to fit one of these buttons, which are about 15 millimeters, centimetre and a half in diameter. You can alter the number of stitches in width that you use. A traditional way to make a buttonhole would be to say chain 2, skip those 2 stitches, and then work in the next stitch, and then across. But as you'll see, that leaves a fairly visible hole in your fabric. So let's pull that out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the foundation half double crochet, which is sometimes called the chainless foundation row, but it's basically working a half double crochet and a chain at the same time. So to do that, and I do have a separate tutorial for foundation rows, which I'll pop a link to. So I'm going to yarn over like a normal half double crochet. And if I turn it around, what I'm going to do, because when you start a foundation chain, you kind of need somewhere to start it if you're working it in existing work. If you're working it from scratch, you would work it into the first chain, but we don't have a chain. So there's 2 options that I tried when I came up with this. One was to work it into that previous stitch, but I didn't really like that. It left a bit of a bump and that hole was quite big. So what I did is I worked it in the 3rd loop, which I'm going to show you that. Let's just pull it out. So that's the front loop, that's the back loop, and here is the 3rd loop. Now the good thing about the 3rd loop, let's just pop my chain under, is it's a little bit behind the post of the stitch, so it works quite well for this purpose. So let's show you. So this is back to the front, so I'm going to yarn over, insert it into that 3rd loop, yarn over and pull up a loop. And now I can start with my foundation double crochet. So the first part of that is yarn over and pull through 1. Now that creates the base chain of the next stitch. That's like the chain, and then we're going to work the stitch into that chain. And you can see just there, that's what we're going to work through on the next foundation stitch. So then I'm going to work my half double crochet, which is yarn over and pull through 3. So that is my first foundation half double crochet. I'm just going to make 2. So the second one, I'm going to yarn over, put my hook through that base chain, and this can be a little bit fiddly, but there it is. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1 to create that base chain, and yarn over and pull through 3. So that's my 2 foundation half double crochet. So now I can just work the rest of the row. So that's the stitch that I worked in the 3rd loop of. Then I'm going to miss that stitch, which is, I can't think of the word, but which is kind of the same as that 2nd stitch. And then I'm going to work in that next stitch there. So miss the back loop of the one I worked the 3rd loop, the back loop of the next one, and then I'm just going to work a normal half double crochet in the back loop of that one, and the same across to the end of the row. So that's all you need to do. It's as simple as that. As I say, on the back it's a little bit more noticeable. So you can see that's where the button's going to come through. But on the front, and if I just work another quick row of half double crochet, then you'll see the little lump almost completely disappears. So you can see when I pull that tight, it's really hard to see where the gap is. I mean, you know it's there, so you can see it, but it's pretty well hidden, I think. So go forth and make buttonholes.